How exercise helps with depression. In this video, I'm going to take a deeper dive into exercise and depression that I wasn't able to in my short videos, in part because it's such an important topic and because there's so much new research in the area. The first thing I want to point out from all the research is that we know that people who meet the minimum weekly requirements for exercise have a 17 to 25% lower risk of depression. Even those that only do half of the recommendations or at a lower intensity still have a significantly lower risk of developing depression. And these antidepressive effects come regardless of age, sex, and body mass index. But the majority of research has been done on people already suffering from depression. In the last 5 years, there's been at least 7 meta-analyses summarizing the effects of exercise on depression. And they all have shown that either a single bout of exercise or regular exercise training reduces depression in adults. While other meta-analyses show it reduces depression in children and adolescents, postpartum women, and in people who have suffered a heart attack. A common observation from these studies was despite the effectiveness of exercise on depression, it remains underutilized compared to more traditional treatments. And here are some of the key points from those studies. 1. As the aerobic fitness level increases in people with symptoms of depression, the amount of antidepressive medication they take decreases. 2. All types of exercise, including resistance training, cardio, yoga, and even dancing, are significantly effective in reducing symptoms of depression. 3. Many studies show that exercise can be just as effective as pharmacotherapy or medication for people with depression. 4. Exercise significantly reduces depression symptoms, regardless of depression classification. However, moderate to large reductions in major depressive disorder symptoms only occur with supervised moderate to intense resistance training or aerobic exercise. So, if exercise is hard for you to sustain or just hasn't worked in the past, it might be worth getting a personal trainer, particularly one who's familiar with how exercise helps with depression and who can help guide you to safe, moderate, and even intense workouts. Another common observation from these studies is that exercise is not a panacea. It may not work equally for everyone, because the studies vary widely in depression symptoms and severity, as well as the type, intensity, and duration of exercise. But in general, they show that exercise helps reduce symptoms of depression when done 3 to 5 days per week for 45 to 60 minutes per session and at an appropriate intensity level for the individual. However, any amount or type of exercise can be helpful. So if you're just starting out, pick what you enjoy and do what you can most days of the week. Even though the ability of exercise to help with depression is not in doubt, its effectiveness will vary with each person because depression is a very complex issue with many moving and in some cases missing parts. While current evidence doesn't indicate a single mechanism that brings on depression, causes of depression are most strongly linked to low serotonin and norepinephrine levels, both of which increase with exercise. Serotonin and norepinephrine are neurotransmitters or chemical signals that establish communication between nerve cells. Among other things, serotonin affects your mood, while norepinephrine increases alertness, arousal, and attention. After they signal their intended nerve cells, serotonin and norepinephrine are taken up by the cells to be reused at a later time. This knowledge has led to antidepressant medications known as serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, which prevents their reuptake into the cells so they can continue to exert their effect on the brain, which includes reducing depression. Moving forward, as scientists learn more how exercise helps lower depression, they will not only be able to establish the most effective antidepressant exercise prescription, but have a better idea of what types of drugs and medications to focus on. For example, exercise increases tryptophan metabolism, which produces some serotonin, but mostly kynurenine, which has its own antidepressant impact as a neuroprotective agent that helps offset the neurotoxic effects seen during depression. Exercise also increases BDNF, which is reduced during depression. But some studies show it may require high-intensity exercise to increase BDNF enough to reduce depression-like behavior. The exercise-induced elevation in BDNF may also contribute to an increase in hippocampus volume and activity, which are both reduced during depression. Reductions in immune function and anti-inflammatory mechanisms are also associated with depression, both of which, guess what, increase with exercise. One way this happens is when contracting muscles release myokines or signaling proteins with pro-immune and anti-inflammatory functions that travel throughout the body supporting optimal nerve function. Given that the underlying mechanisms of depression are not the same for everyone, the fact that exercise targets more than one mechanism associated with depression means it has the potential to be effective by itself, but providing even more robust and effective treatment when combined with antidepressant medication. If you suffer or have suffered from depression or know someone who does and haven't seriously tried exercise, hopefully the information in this video will give you the motivation and commitment to add regular exercise to your treatment plan. And if you struggle with making exercise stick, check out my videos on exercise adherence, which can help you continue with and receive all the benefits from exercise. As always, masters come from peer-reviewed research.